This seems like it only benefits Macy's. Like, Macy's gets all the attention for having a Toys R Us in it. But Toys R Us has to deal with lackluster toys. They have to deal with terrible fucking placement. And they have to deal with the fact that they're in a fucking Macy's. Today we are going to be doing a discussion. Today's discussion is going to be on Toys R Us, and that's another thing I never expected to say, because apparently Toys R Us has risen from the grave. Let's talk.
Yeah, honestly, I think it was sad that they had to close down, but the way that they're coming back is, I think, a good way. A way to kind of reboot themselves if they do plan to come back later.
So when Toys R Us died a few years back, they went under because they had a shit ton of debt. And they had a shit ton of debt due to acquisitions that kept happening over and over again and too much rapid growth. The expansion of the Babies brand, just a lot of terrible business decisions. Well, they ended up shutting down and some jerk ended up buying it up and he tried to make NFTs with it. The NFTs failed, no one liked it, they said you could do better with the brand. Well now, Toys R Us has made a deal with Macy's and they're gonna try, at least for this Christmas and maybe every Christmas going forward, to set up a little Toys R Us shop in every Macy's just to try to bring back some attention to the Toys R Us brand by giving kids a chance to buy toys in Macy's for some reason.
They are basically a mini Spirit Halloween, but for Christmas now. And instead of just taking over any abandoned building, they're in Macy's.
So, I have some criticism with this, and I want to get it out of the way. With the whole thing, I don't think Macy's is a good choice. I think that with Macy's, people really don't go here to get toys. I get why Macy's does want to do it. I don't know why Toys R Us wants to do it. If I were Toys R Us, I would do something like, I know they're already known for having toys, but maybe go to a Walgreens and take over the toy aisle, or maybe go to some other place that's more popular than fucking Macy's. Like, there are plenty of department stores that have a lot of room that could use the Toys R Us pop-up that isn't a fucking Macy's. Or better yet, you could do the Spirit of Halloween thing, like Luminous said, and just open up in an abandoned store for a bit each year. Like a little store. There's little stores everywhere where you could set up, sell your shit, and then fuck off. That would be a really good idea, because who wants to go to Macy's for this? Who thinks, oh yeah, time to go to Macy's to get some toys? You've got Target, you've got Walmart, you've got so many better toy solutions than a fucking Macy's. And from what I've seen from all the Toys R Us I've been looking at online, they're not even that impressive to begin with. So they have lackluster fucking selections. They have toys that everyone else has. And they're in shitty, worn-down Macy's. What is the appeal here besides the fact that it's called Toys R Us?
Yeah, and it seems like a bunch of the toys that they're selling are just leftover ones, especially from summer, which is a very odd choice, seeing how we're in autumn, going into winter, and this is clearly set up for Christmas, because a lot of them have Christmas ornaments, like the cutouts and stuff everywhere. So, not the greatest. Could be better. I think Shads is right. It would be better in something like a Walgreens, because Walgreens are everywhere. You can kind of already just find toys in Walgreens. And it would be honestly a bit more befitting, in my opinion, if it were to take something like that, like partially over. It's really weird to go with a Macy's, especially because Macy's is kind of already an abandoned store. Sorry to anyone who likes going to Macy's, I guess. But Macy's is also not everywhere. Like, I don't have a Macy's anywhere near me. I think I'd have to go over an hour away just to go to a Macy's, just to go to a Toys R Us. That's in a very small corner of it. I don't think it's too smart on Toys R Us's end, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this seems like it only benefits Macy's. Like, Macy's gets all the attention for having a Toys R Us in it. But Toys R Us has to deal with lackluster toys, they have to deal with terrible fucking placement, and they have to deal with the fact that they're in a fucking Macy's, and it doesn't even look like Macy's is doing a good job to promote that they have Toys R Us in it. Like, Toys R Us was like a dominating brand for decades. They are iconic. I'd rather Toys R Us set up in a local mall, because there's plenty of malls where I live and in other places I've gone to where they could just set up in one of the abandoned mall stores for a fucking season and sell off their stuff and leave. Or they could go to one of the many abandoned buildings across America, set up, and then leave. This has already been proven to work with Spirit Halloween. So there's really like no fucking excuse to not do it on your own. I understand taking the safe route and going with a pre-established business, but they're benefiting more than you are. They need you. You don't need them. Like, take a risk. Go out there. Be yourself. Sell toys. Like, toys are a popular commodity. Maybe they aren't as big to make a whole store dedicated to them like you used to, but a little pop-up shop somewhere that isn't in a Macy's, I think you'd get attention. Have a big Toys R Us sign that pops up, and then when you're done, take it down and leave. Come back each holiday season. Like, if you show up holiday season, people will go to Toys R Us. All year round, maybe not. Maybe you can't be as big as you used to be, but you could do better than this Toys R Us.
Yeah, especially because Toys R Us, like, associated with toys, Christmas season associated with toys. So it popping up, I think, just in abandoned malls or nearly abandoned malls or stores would be a lot better off for it, because it can help it unload some of its old stock and possibly bring more business back to them so they can bring it back up and they don't have to worry about constantly paying leases and everything for the buildings they're in. It could just be for that season. And there's no Macy's near me, but there sure as hell is abandoned malls near me. I think there's abandoned malls near a lot more people than Macy's.
So I guess the final thoughts is Toys R Us, quit selling yourself short. Quit fucking with NFTs. Expand your horizons. Take a risk. Maybe next year, go big. Because right now, I want you to go home.